Hello, this is Cheryl Lentz, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, doing my follow-up Friday. So hello. I just made it back to my desk in time. I went and did a little bit of running around here, and it was like, will she get the garnish on the plate? We watch Chopped all the time, and that's what I was thinking. Will she get that last embellishment on before time is up and she has to hit that button? So if somebody's joining me, let me know. Say hi. Hello. Hi, Rhiannon. How are you? So I have some fun things. I wanted to get more done, always. I always want to get more done. Who doesn't want to get more done? With this particular stamp set, Celebrate Sunflowers, which is one of the new sets in our new catalog. Hooray! But I am like squirrel. I can get distracted so easily. The girls know that. So I started working with this stamp set, and I started coloring. It has a great big sunflower that just screams to be colored. Hi, Cindy. It screams to be use the aqua painters, which I must say we have new aqua painters coming out. So right now they're sold in a group of 2, and in the new catalog there's a group of 3, and one has like a flat brush. So I'm kind of excited to get working with those. But that's what I did. I started making cards with this, and then I got totally, yes, happy Friday, woohoo! I got totally off course. So I apologize for that, but I'm going to show you what I did. I have a couple of cards to show you, and then a little bit of watercoloring we'll talk about, and I'll show you what's up, show you what I have. So if anybody else is coming on, they can watch later. I will have it on my YouTube channel. We're up to like, I think 117 or something like that. I'm like, oh, I'm so excited. So thank you guys for sharing and passing along the word and getting me a little bit out there. So I appreciate that. I'm going to turn this around and we'll just get started so we don't keep you too long from Fish Fry Friday here in Wisconsin. So I'm going to turn the camera around, and let's see here. Ta-da, there's the card we're going to make. I'm going to try to make this a little bit bigger. Whoops, come on. Let's see here. I always do it and then it goes way too big, you know. There we go. Okay. There we go. All right. I keep getting NFL updates. Travis just laughs at me. I get NFL updates all the time. Okay. So this is the card that we're going to do today. So normally I have another layer in there, but I love this. This is our new bumblebee paper. And then here is that wonderful sunflower I was talking about. And on the inside, there's a little mini sunflower. So I put that in the inside. So what I did on this particular one, I started stamping the sunflower. And first I stamped it on regular cardstock that I had printed something on. You see that? I stamped it on regular cardstock. And then here's the set. I should show you the set. Here's the stamp set. So that you don't get too much shine on it. I'll tip it over a little bit. But, excuse me, so once I started stamping it and coloring it, I was like, oh my goodness sakes, this is so much fun. So this was regular cardstock. I colored it with So Saffron. I decided to go on the bumblebee, I wanted to go a little darker, so I went with Crushed Curry here. Regular cardstock, here's the one I cut out from here. And then this one also has this die over it. So they have a die that cuts out the whole sunflower, like that, okay? And then they have a die that cuts out all these little individual outline. So I'm gonna bring that up closer so you can see. So this is all just glued on here, which of course screams to say we're gonna do some paper piecing with this, because you could cut this out in multiple colors and then put it all in there and it would be beautiful. So I'm looking forward to doing that. But in the meantime, I am going to show you how I went about making this one. So I used our watercolor paper. I'll put my dies over here because we're going to use those later. So I used our watercolor paper. It's cold pressed archival cotton paper, and it has a little bit of a texture. So to match that texture, I went ahead and used one of our new 3D embossing folders called Tasteful Textile. So I want to see, can you see that little bumpy? You can kind of see the texture in there, because this was going to be textured, and I thought, now my background paper has to be textured also. So I did that, and then I used this little rope twine trim that we used earlier, and this is from the Forever Greenery trim pack. But I thought a little touch of that goes, a little gold in there, look pretty. So let's get started. I'm going to stamp my flower on a piece of our paper. One side has a little bit more of a texture, one side is smoother. So either side, you can use either side. It's really thick. Now normally when we make, when we're going to color them, whatever, we will use Stays-On ink. In this case, I wanted to use, I'm using a soft suede. And I know that it's going to blur up the color a little bit, and that's okay. I wanted to have sort of a vintagey look, and so that's why I went ahead and used one of our regular classic inks. So I'm just giving it a good press here. This would be a great one to do on the Stamparatus, right? So I could go back in and press if I miss a spot, because this is kind of a larger stamp, but today we're just doing this. Ta-da, perfect, okay, great. And then I'm gonna stamp a couple of leaves, because we're gonna cut some leaves out too. So I'll just put those up here. 2, 3, I had 3 leaves on there, okay. So all done with our soft suede. Now, when you color, the key with using the aqua painter, the new ones or the old ones, either one, it's going to turn out the same, is keeping a piece of paper towel next to you and using that to control the water so you don't get too much water. My monkeys hate to do this. They are not aqua painter people, but I totally love it. So you just squeeze until your paintbrush has no color in it, and you can go from color to color to color. This is one with the longer tip, okay, but these are going to be gone, but something similar will be coming our way. So I took the crushed curry and I put a couple of drops of our re-inker right in the base here, and that's going to be my color palette to color it. So I'm just picking up a little bit here and starting at the base, and I'm just going to go fast, because I know it's going to make that color run. So I'm just kind of going to go quickly in different spots, and then I'll pull up a little less color so I get a little variation in the color. There we go. Light and dark. There we go. Just like that. So I'm going to go all the way around. And the key is moving quickly. You don't need to... I have another one that I'm working on, and I'll show you the part of that one. And then as it dries, it just kind of gets sort of fuzzy looking. It loses some of the definition from the lines here, but that's okay. That's what I was kind of going for, that look, kind of vintage color here. And I'm just, in between, I keep wiping the extra water off of here, because I am picking up some of the brown paint in there too. So I'm just pulling that off. If I want, I'm going to pull up a little bit here, just because I want to get more color, not wet, but lighter color here. Pulling it through around here. Or the gold. Dry my brush off a little bit. Get a little more of that crushed curry dark color. There we go. So yeah, once I started this, it was like, oh my goodness sakes. Okay, I can't stop. I can't stop. It's too much fun. You don't have to have every spot filled. So it's sort of like color by number. You just sort of kind of go with it. And I am going kind of petal by petal because I'll get light and dark in there. I'll show you on the other one. I did one with, I used my favorite, the Mango Melody, So Bright. So there we go. Now I have the flower done. Now I'm going to do my little leaves real quick, and I used shaded spruce. So again, I just kind of squeezed the bottom to get that in there. See that in there? I turn this over and I put it down on the paper, and on the back side I just push it with the ball of my hand, and that will give me, look at all the color on there for the color palette. I was using more on the crushed curry, so I did a different kind of, and so on this one, I went up the middle, and then I just pulled out. And it'll blend some of the brown, that's okay. And it just looks sort of soft. And you get different colors in from the blending of all the colors. And this is what this is how I get in trouble. I get sidetracked like this. Ta-da, ta-da. And then we'll let this dry a little bit. This one I added a little more color on one side, and then just pulled it over. There. So the leaves have some variation in there too. So I'm going to let that one dry a little bit. In the center, I went back with my soft suede, and I just pulled up a little bit. I'm squeezing out my aqua painter so I have no more color. And I'm just pulling, kind of pooling a little tiny bit. I don't want a lot of color because I'm just going to blend that in. See that? Woo, comes to life. There we go, just like that. I'm just going to leave that dry, and I'm going to show you what I was working on, the other thing. So when you're watercoloring, we'll let that dry, and then we'll cut it out. On this one here, if I can lift it up. Okay, here we go. Had my nails done, now I'm writing on my paper. So this particular one, I stamped the image I inked it up in Sahara sand. I stamped it off, and then I stamped it on my watercolor paper. And then I went with my Mango Melody. So it's almost like paint by number. You're picking up, again, you're just picking up a little bit of color here and there. And with this soft, you're not blending as much in the, I have to get a little more water in here. You're not blending, pulling up the brown bled a little bit more. This soft Sahara sand doesn't do that. So when you go pick up a little bit of color, do a petal at a time, and then you do the next petal, you have that variation of color in there. And so here we go, a little bit darker, and then I'm going to move over so I'm at a different petal, kind of moving it along, and then going back when it's a little bit lighter, so that when you go all the way around, it's like color by number. What do you think? Is this fun? I could do this all day. I'm really bad. I love this part of it. So there you go. I want you to try this. Even if you're not a big fan of the aqua painters and doing that, this stamp set screams for this. When you get this, you have to try this. I did hear from people that have done the paper piecing, so I was really happy. Judy Kamik sent me a lovely picture of, I won't do it all the way so you guys don't have to watch me get so involved, of her paper piecing with another punch that she had, so that was really fun. Thank you for sharing that, Judy. I appreciate it. It was really, it's fun to know that you guys are out there and you're doing, you know, playing with what we talk about and some of the things. I'm just moving the water around a little bit. But isn't that pretty? What do you think? Will you try this at home? The new aqua painters will be available when our new catalog comes out. which is June 3rd, and I'm hoping to have my catalogs in place here. So if you're in the area, you can come on by, because what I do is I have my catalogs spiral bound for you. It's so much easier to look at. So so that's what I'm doing. So I am going to go ahead and we'll work on the inside of this card. So and also Rhiannon, if you're in the area, on Friday, June, I think it's the 13th, right? The 12th, June 12th. I am going to be having an open house. I promised to put it on my page, and I was having difficulty working on my computer yesterday. For some reason, my computer would not talk to my phone, so I could not get any pictures in. I couldn't transfer my photos. So I was a little upset with that. Technology gets the better of me very often. And so here, this is the smaller tip. So I'm just going to color this in. Anyhow, you could come to the open house. You have to sign up. Let me know, and I can tell you what times are available. It is on that Friday, the second Friday of the month, Friday the 12th, from 2 o'clock to 7. I know the 2 o'clock spot and the 3 o'clock spot are filled. And so I'm only doing 4 people at a time. So everybody hopefully will feel comfortable. There's my little sunflower. And I will have the catalogs hopefully by then. They're out being spiral bound as we speak. So there we go. I love doing these. You didn't get that before, you get it now. I love to do this coloring. The key is to control the water, and the way you can control the water is just by having a piece of paper towel next to you here. So here's my little leaves. Add some green in here. This one, it says thanks a bunch, and so I thought I would leave it just plain inside so you can write what you're thanking them for. There we go. And this is going to just glue right inside here. I'm going to put the cover back on. There. Okay. Let's glue this in. I get to have a new glue. Every day I film, I take a new glue. I love that part. So here we go. Yeah, so we're trying to get ready for open house. Normally for my open houses, for those that have come here and done it, I always have projects for you and have lots of things for you to look at. I will have lots of things for you to look at, and I will have an inspiration bag for you to take home this time. So we just decided that instead of having everybody stamp, we would do that, because I'm doing it in 1 hour increments, and sometimes we need more time than that, and we figured that we would want to visit and do a little chatting, and so that's what we're doing. We're going to go ahead and do the cards up for you. So I am going to move my Big Shot over here, because I'm going to cut out the flower and leaves that we did here. So this die, sometimes these dies are harder to work with. This die is not. When you look at this, it has some of the leaves that the petals are all going out, and there's this spot right here where it kind of deviates. And so that's what I looked for, the wave. I call it the wave. There's the one that goes the opposite direction, and so you just kind of lock it in with that. So here is our little, hold that in place, and here's our leaf. We're going to get our leaves cut out. Now with the leaf, it's a smaller one, so I might have to use my little bit of washi tape I have sitting here. It's a sad little piece, but it'll work. Because on this one, it's searching for the magnet, right? On our new one, it's going to be a solid magnetic surface, so it won't have to run away from us like that. So there we go. I'm going to put this in here, and unfortunately it won't have the new one right away, but we will soon enough. It will happen. So here's my flower cut out. Take that off. My leaf is cut out. And I'm going to get my other two leaves cut out real quick here. I'm going across the green here to move my chair. There we go. Okay. So I'm putting this in here. And I'll run it back the other way. Pretty soon our leaves will be out. My other little card, the first one I did with this set, I used the paper, the new Flowers for Every Season paper that I showed you on Tuesday, and that was fun. You know, that was one of the first times I had looked at it when I went through it all and showed it to you, and the two pieces that I really was wild about, loved, is what I used on this card. They're kind of companion pieces, so I was excited to play with that. There we go. Okay. Go all the way through. Take that off. Move this out of our way. There we go. Okay. Back in the center of things. I'm going to pull this out. Pop out my little leaf. There. Put this one over here so I don't lose it. Here's my other goodies. So on my leaf, well, let's see here. I better stamp the words first. So I'm using a 3/4 inch piece of cardstock to stamp the words. So of course, look what I did. I cut two just in case, just in case I don't get it. I mean, I have two chances on this side. So I line it up with my grid paper. I put the writing in soft suede. Here it is. Thanks a bunch. And I always kind of look at the back side and kind of figure how far it is from this edge to where the stamp starts, and that's what I'm always trying to, it's a little harder when I'm leaning over here, but let's see if I can get this kind of straight. Oh, pretty good, pretty good. Ah, I'm good with that one. There we go. Should have been over that way just a hair, but we're gonna go with it. So what I did here is I cut our own little flags on here. I just cut down the center and then from the point up to the center. There we go. So you can make it as deep or as shallow as you want. So I'm going to cut a little of this off because I didn't have it quite centered right. There we go. Adjustments. We can make adjustments. That's what we all need to do, right? We've been making a lot of adjustments. There we go. Okay, so that's done. Okay, here's my flower. Now I want to tuck some leaves underneath it. So what I did is I took my dimensionals, new one, and I just put them, 4 of them, right in the center. So I have all this wiggle room around here to decide where I want those leaves to be tucked under my flower. I don't have to decide that beforehand. And I wanted the flower bumped up and the leaves kind of glued on behind just to give it interest, that up and down, that texture, and having that, I think it looks nice that way. So we're going over like this. There we go. And now my 2 little leaves over here. And I'll just put a little bit of adhesive here and sneak it under there. There we go. I love green glue, so I can move that out and play around with exactly where I want to put that leaf. I have a little bit of wiggle room on that. And then this one here. There we go. And then I put one up on the top here too. I was going to put it at first underneath the words, and I decided not to do that because I decided to put some of the gold, there we go, I'll let that dry. I decided to put some of the gold braiding, the trim on there. So where did I put that? Right here. Okay. So I am going to put my dimensionals on my little word section here. I just need 3 of them. There. And then I'm going to take the cover off, and that's what's going to hold my trim, my gold trim. So I'm going to start here, and I just went off there, and then I'm just kind of going around. No rhyme or reason. I'm just sort of just putting some trim in here. And the nice thing is, so you can change it up. So I don't quite like that. I'm gonna move it up a little bit. Just kind of move it around. Do a figure 8. There. And it's just sticking right on my trim, on my dimensionals there. Okay. We're gonna cut this off and then put it down here. Center it. Boy, I have that whole thing crooked. I'm so sorry. There we go. Just kind of center it here. Ta-da, ta-da. And then I took my paper, my pickup tool, and I flared the ends here. So it gives it a little kind of fuzzy, separated that out. I think it looks sort of neat like that. There we go. And that's going to go on the base of our card. So a little more adhesive, green glue. Put this down here and center it on all 3, and then just give it a good press. To add a little sparkle, besides this gold trim, which I think is so cool, I did use the gold glitter enamel dots. So I was thrilled. These came out with the rose set. I don't know if y'all remember the rose, Christmas rose. I just loved that. It was so pretty. And we had these gold sequins, gold glitter enamel dots. And so they kept them. I was thrilled with that. Let's see here. We're going to put one here. I like that they have different sizes, so we'll kind of, I don't know, put them in different places than I did on my other one. And we're going to go up here, I think. There we go. Odd number is what I usually put on. There we go. Ta-da. Thanks a bunch. A little more water, it doesn't matter, but I love how the leaves look and how that goes. So, okay. Now, here is the first one I did. So, this is the 2 papers that I just loved when I first pulled that out. So, I used those papers, and then the background is our buffalo check. I stamped it off and used So Saffron. I fussy cut the words, and this is using my little thank you paper pumpkin, my Misty Moonlight. So it is a lot different than when you first stamp it, it looks really dark. It looks almost like Night of Navy, but when it dries, it's this softer blue. So very pretty. So, and then I used our little new gingham on here. And just a point, I just want to say, so I wanted this banner here. Half the banner is going to be covered up. So you can cut this much shorter. This paper comes in 6x6. So I always try to go 2, 4, 6, you know, to keep it even. So cut it smaller. This is cut in the middle. So I just cut the banner, and then I have a piece over here and I have a piece over here. It doesn't matter if I don't have anything in the middle. Save your cards or your designer paper and use it that way. And then here's the little punch. I punched out with our triple banner punch, and I added that piece in the inside. So if you are figuring out, you need to add like a half an inch or so longer, like if I was doing the whole thing and it wasn't covered up, if you're using this punch, because you can see it takes a big bite out, but it's nice to use in the inside of your card. So there you go. That's my story. Here's my cards. Here's my play. Here's my play time. And there we go. So somebody will get the card, share the video, talk about the video, send it out to your friends. I would appreciate that. I am going to turn the camera around here. And let's see here. Hi, Terry. It's Friday. Yay. Terry got a big box of goodies yesterday, so hopefully she got some playtime in. There we go. Okay. So I love the watercolor. I love the aqua painter. I love the new paper. Our other paper was, it had more texture to it. This is a very subtle texture to it. But stamping that off with the Sahara sand and then coming back, it almost looks like watercolor. So a lot of fun. So that's it. Celebrate sunflowers. That was the feature today. I'm not sure what I'll do on Tuesday, but I have the grandkids coming this weekend. Tomorrow they're coming to put bark down. Isn't that exciting? But I am cooking for them, which I don't cook very much, but I have a delicious thing that I make when I have big groups that only has 3 ingredients. So I can do it. So it's pork, Hawaiian sea salt, not Himalayan, Hawaiian red sea salt, and liquid smoke. And you cook it for like 20 hours in a pot. And that's my Kahlua pig that I make for big groups. So that's what we're having tomorrow. So tonight it'll smell really good at my house because it's upstairs cooking. So hope you guys have a great, great weekend. I promise to try and get all my information about the open house on my stampingjourney.com. So check there for any updates. I will have this video there. I'll have the video on YouTube. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting my business. I appreciate it. Everybody stay safe, stay kind. We will see you on Talking on Tuesday. Bye-bye. Oops, that's not right.